I'm about to spend 99 nights trapped in a dark Roblox forest. But while I fight to survive, I'll tell you some of the wildest real-life stories you've ever heard. Trust me, the game isn't the only scary part. Let's go ahead and judge some people. All right, here's the first story. I'm a 29-year-old male, and I've been dating my girlfriend Lena, 27, for about 10 months. Things have been great overall. She's funny, smart, independent, and we've even talked about maybe moving in together next year. No major issues until this weekend. Here's what happened. On Saturday, Lena told me she was going out with a few friends from college. Cool, no problem. I had plans to watch the game with my brother anyway. But the next day, I saw a photo on one of her friends' Instagram stories with the caption, "Happy birthday, Jason." I recognized Jason. He's her ex, the one she dated for about 3 years and broke up with about a year before we met. From what I gathered, they were pretty serious. I've never made a big deal about it because Lena always told me they were on decent terms, but not really close. Naturally, I asked her later that night, "Hey, were you at Jason's birthday thing?" She looked a little surprised and said, "Yeah." Then quickly followed up with, "It wasn't a big deal. It was a group thing, and I didn't think it mattered." I didn't raise my voice or accuse her of anything. I just said I wished she'd mentioned it beforehand. She got a bit defensive and said I was making something out of nothing, and that it's not like she was hiding it. But she kind of did hide it. I don't want to be controlling. I know people can stay friends with their exes. But the fact that she didn't even mention she was going to his birthday rubs me the wrong way. It just feels off. I'm not accusing her of cheating, but I can't shake the feeling that she intentionally kept it vague so I wouldn't ask questions. She said she didn't think I'd care, but the whole thing makes me feel sidelined. Am I overreacting? Honestly, I don't think this guy's overreacting. It's definitely sneaky behavior on Lena's part. She didn't do anything egregious or relationship ending, but if you're going to your ex-boyfriend's birthday party, it's probably something your partner should know about. I'm not someone who thinks you need to know where your partner is at all times. You should trust them. But this is one of those situations where telling them is just basic respect. Otherwise, it seems like you're omitting the truth. Okay, here's the next second story. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor to grow up, get a life, and get over the fact that I painted my house a color he doesn't like? I bought a house in a community without an HOA. I wanted my home to truly feel like mine, and that includes making it look the way I want. I also specifically chose a neighborhood that already had fun, colorful houses instead of just plain earth tones. I finally reached the point where I could repaint my house, and I picked a soft peachy color with sage blue and soft dark pink accents. My neighbor Paul absolutely hates it and has been complaining ever since we started the project. He's also voiced his dislike for our front lawn. Lots of wildflowers and sunflowers, fun garden flags, a little free library, etc. Every time he complains, I tell him I don't care. Honestly, I don't. I've even suggested a few times that maybe he'd be happier living in an HOA community where everything is strictly controlled and all the houses are beige. Paul got angry when I suggested that and said he's lived in his home for over 15 years and shouldn't have to move. I told him, okay, well, then you'll have to learn how to live with a little color. Last weekend, I was putting in pavers that my niece and I had painted together. Ladybugs, turtles, birds, and other fun designs in bright colors. I love them, and my niece is thrilled she gets to be part of my home. Paul came over to complain yet again, saying it was all an eyesore. Since my niece was there, I just told him it's time for you to grow up and get over what I'm doing with my house. He got even more upset, saying I had no right to talk to him that way. I told him to just go away and get a life. If he has so much free time to whine about my colorful house, maybe he should get a hobby. He stormed off, calling me a nasty piece of work. My niece was cracking up on the side. For the record, no one in my family is uptight. We don't care about cursing. She's 15. And honestly, I'm sure she says worse. Later, another neighbor came by to tell me Paul's been going around complaining about how disrespectful I am. She admitted he's a pain, but said he's been in the neighborhood forever and it might be worth being nice to him. I don't know. Is telling him to get a life really that big of a deal? I don't know. Is telling him to get a life really that big of a deal? In my opinion, no, definitely not. When you buy a property, especially without an HOA, you can do whatever you want with it. Paul has no authority to dictate how I paint my house. Sometimes you just get stuck with annoying neighbors, and that's life. All right, let's read another one here. My girlfriend was secretly trying to get me fired from every job I had. I'm a 24-year-old guy, and I'd been with my 29-year-old girlfriend, let's call her Janice, for 2.5 years. When we first started dating, I just finished school and was working all sorts of jobs to build my resume. Cafes, bookstores, a library, a grocery store, even tutoring English. But almost every job ended the same way. Bad reviews mentioning me, anonymous complaints, sketchy internet searches tied to my work account, even calls from former employees trashing my name. It was unsettling, but I kept finding new work and trying to move forward. Janice was always there to comfort me when it happened. Fast forward to my current job at a bakery. One day, my manager pulled me aside about a nasty Google review that described me exactly. I brushed it off as the same mysterious vendetta from before, and she let it slide. Later that night, Janice's phone lit up with an email. Mick Myrtle, manager, has responded to your review. My heart sank. Mick Myrtle was the reviewer's name. A few days later, I couldn't take the suspicion anymore. While she was showering, I checked her email and found a spreadsheet she'd sent herself. It had everything: my personal info, passwords, work schedules, my colleagues' names and contacts, plus accounts she'd used to leave reviews and complaints. That was it. I packed my things, called my boss to take time off, and went to stay with my dad. He called the police, a lawyer, and got me into therapy. We broke up immediately. Update. We never took her to court. I was too anxious to handle the stress, so our lawyers settled things privately. I moved, got a stable job, and haven't had a single problem with her since. I still keep a low profile online, and therapy has helped me start to rebuild. But knowing someone that close to you could deliberately destroy your life, that's a kind of fear you never fully shake. All right, we got a fourth story, lot of stories to get through today. The earbud disaster. I'm a 28-year-old guy working from home, and like a lot of remote workers, I've developed my own little habits. Mine? I use wireless earbuds during calls so I can move around freely. Maybe clean the kitchen, maybe chase my cat, Gremlin, out of whatever forbidden zone he's decided is his new home. Yesterday, we had one of those dreaded quarterly strategy meetings on Teams. Cameras off. Of course. The kind of call where management talks for 40 minutes in corporate gibberish, followed by 10 minutes of awkward silence because no one dares ask a question. I had my earbuds in, mic muted, or so I thought, and I was multitasking, wiping counters, picking up stray cat toys, and occasionally talking to Gremlin. At one point, I noticed him chewing on plastic. "What are you doing, Gremlin?" I scolded. "No, you can't eat plastic, you tiny moron." Then, it happened. A fart. Not just any fart, a full-on cartoon sound effect level blast. I laughed to myself and muttered, "Jesus, that was bold of me." That's when I noticed my manager suddenly stop mid-sentence. Then another voice chimed in, "Is someone not muted?" I froze, looked at my screen, my heart sank. Not only was I not muted, I was the audio host. That meant everyone had heard everything. I died inside, respawned, then immediately left the meeting under the guise of a bathroom break. Later, my boss messaged me, "Great energy today." I still don't know if that was sarcasm or genuine encouragement, But either way, I've never checked my mute button so obsessively in my life. Story 5. The birthday that ended a relationship. I'm 21. My boyfriend is 22. And we've been together for almost 3 years. We've talked about moving in together soon. Though right now, he still lives with his mom and isn't in school after dropping out. He only works on Tuesdays and Fridays, so I knew he was free on Sunday, which also happened to be my birthday. Birthdays and anniversaries mean a lot to me, and he knows that. In the first year of our relationship, he made me feel special, celebrating these moments with love and care. Last year, we celebrated my birthday late because he was too tired after work, but I let it slide. I've always gone all out for his birthdays. Gifts, handwritten cards, even baking him a cake from scratch. This year, turning 21 felt like a big milestone. I'd been talking about it all week. I bought a new pink dress for the dinner I assumed we'd have. But when I texted him to remind him about our plans, he told me he couldn't make it. He'd already made other plans to go out and party. He completely forgot it was my birthday. So while he was out, I spent my 21st birthday alone in my room. No messages, no effort, nothing. Later, he suggested we could celebrate tomorrow like last year, but it felt hollow. Then came the kicker. He said I should apologize for being ungrateful. That was my breaking point. A couple of days later, I finally told him it was over. It wasn't an easy choice. I thought he was the man I'd marry, but the truth was clear. This wasn't about one birthday. It was about respect, effort, and love. I walked away from the relationship knowing I deserved more than someone who'd rather party than show up for me on my special day. The next story is MacBook court drama. All right, let's move on to the next story. We've had a lot of relationship-heavy ones, so let's take a break and dive into some court drama before circling back to relationships. Here's the title. Sat down on my friend's MacBook and broke it. Offered to pay her for it, but now she wants more because she was upgrading it anyway. It's this or she will sue me in small claims court. Kind of a long title, but let's get into it. The poster writes, I had some friends over at my house, and one of them invited another friend along. She had her MacBook on my couch when I sat on it and broke it. Since it was completely my fault, I offered to pay her for it, and she agreed. She bought it 3 years ago for $2,200. I told her I'd wire the money to her bank account within a week. Now she's emailed me saying that as per our conversation, she's expecting $2,700. I didn't understand why she added extra money. I got her number from a friend and called her. Turns out, she now expects me to pay for an upgraded MacBook since she was planning to upgrade anyway. She said if I don't agree, she'll sue me in small claims court. Should I just wire her the $2,200 or let her sue me? Honestly, the poster was already generous for offering to replace it. It's the right thing to do, but trying to get a full upgrade out of someone because they accidentally broke your old one? That's just greedy. If she wanted an upgrade, she should be covering the difference herself. But here's the update. The poster says, I did some research on repairing the screen for her MacBook model. It's around $310 plus labor. Since she rejected my original offer of $2,200, I withdrew it and instead offered to just pay for the repair cost. She sent me an email calling me names and threatening to take me to court. A few days later, I got served and had to go to court. I told the judge I had given her 3 options. 1, a brand new one for $2,200. 2, a refurbished one for about $1,400. Or 3, repair the current one for about $300 plus labor. I printed all our messages and had receipts ready. I also told him that when I first offered to get her a new one from the Apple Store, she insisted on cash. Later, she changed her demand to $2,700 for the upgrade. It was obvious she was trying to take advantage of me. She had an attitude with the judge the whole time, which didn't help her case. After hearing both sides, The judge ruled that I only had to pay 50% of the repair cost, since she negligently left the laptop on the couch. So now I'm paying no more than $200 to $250. If it weren't for Reddit's advice, I would have been out $2,200 instead. The look on her face as we left the courtroom was priceless. And honestly, the OP handled this perfectly. They took responsibility for what happened, offered a fair settlement, and stood their ground when it was clear they were being taken advantage of. The outcome was fair, and hopefully that friend is now out of the picture. Story number 7. My boyfriend quit gaming, now he's bored and frustrated. Let's move on to another story. This one's not about court drama or relationships gone messy. Well, maybe it is a little relationshipy. The poster writes, my boyfriend, 28M, recently decided to quit gaming after years of being hooked on it. He's been a gamer since he was a teenager, but he realized how much time and money he was spending on it, so he decided to stop. The problem now is that he's constantly bored and easily frustrated. He sits around the house all day, sighing or getting annoyed at the smallest things. If I suggest we do something together, he either acts uninterested or says it's too much effort. I'm not sure how to deal with this. It's starting to affect our relationship. Has anyone been through something similar? How can I support him through this? Or is this just a phase he has to get over? I can relate to this. I definitely went through a period, especially in high school and college, where I was spending way too much time gaming. Gaming gives your brain a neat little framework with clear goals and instant rewards, which real life, well, doesn't always have. In games, you don't have to create your own objectives. They're already there, and completing them feels good. The problem is, when you take that away, life can feel empty if you don't replace it with something else. If I were giving advice to the guy in this story, I'd say find another hobby that actually excites you. Try a sport, join a club, pick up a creative skill, something that challenges you in a healthy way. When I was younger, I played a lot of sports. Then college came along. I stopped, and I filled all that time with gaming. Looking back, I regret it. Once I left college, I made sure to split my time between gaming and other activities, like playing new sports or just spending more time outside. This guy's probably just going through gaming withdrawal right now. Once he finds something else that clicks, he'll be fine. Story number 8. My best guy friend confessed he's in love with me 2 days before my wedding. Let's read another one. Oh boy, the poster writes, I've been with my fiancé for 3 years, engaged for just over 1. My best friend and I have known each other since freshman year of college. We're all in our early 30s. This morning, I woke up to a very long text from him at 6 a.m. Basically, he poured his heart out, saying he's been in love with me for years and was hoping I'd break up with my fiancé and finally notice him. He asked me to call off the wedding and run away with him. I feel gross and sad. I have no romantic feelings for him, only platonic love. I haven't told my fiancé yet, but I know I need to. I'm angry that my friend picked this timing, 2 days before my wedding, instead of telling me years ago. I'm considering telling him not to come to the wedding because I can't trust he wouldn't try something. The thought of losing my best friend is heartbreaking, but I feel disgusted knowing he had ulterior motives this whole time. We've been friends for over a decade. I've been crying all day. How do I even deal with this? Yeah, this guy definitely watched one too many romantic comedies. And look, you can have a crush on a friend, sure. But confessing your love 2 nights before their wedding? Absolutely not. If you were going to say something, you had years to do it, and you should have moved on when she said it wasn't happening. Update. After the wedding, the poster came back with the full story. The night her fiancé got home from visiting her brother, she showed him the text. He got angry, but told her she didn't owe him an apology. He admitted he'd always suspected her friend had a crush, but thought he'd kept it respectful, and he had, physically at least. She even showed him past messages to prove there was no emotional affair. She told her fiancé she didn't want the friend at the wedding. They drafted a short, clear message. I'm sorry you mistook my friendship for something more. The wedding is still happening, and it's best if you don't attend. To be clear, this is my decision, not just my fiancé's. When the friend finally replied, it was ugly. He accused her of leading him on for over a decade, wished her fiancé would leave her, and even hoped they'd be infertile. She cried. Her fiancé took the phone, and an hour later told her the guy was blocked on everything. And you know what? The wedding rocked. They had the time of their lives surrounded by people who actually loved them. No drama, no interruptions, just happiness. Honestly, they handled it perfectly. It's sad to lose a friend, but when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. And seriously, don't drop a love confession days before someone's wedding. That's not romance, that's selfish. That's it for today's wild stories. If you enjoyed surviving with me out here in Roblox, make sure to hit like, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss the next night in the forest. Because trust me, it only gets crazier from here.